What is going on, y'all? GeoFuck Site Perspectives. And people, a few people left some comments asking me to give my perspective, my 2 cents on the Kim Kardashian. There was also another individual who also made some privilege-based commentary when it comes to working and making money. So let's get into it. So Kim Kardashian and another individual made some very privileged posts. And Kim Kardashian in particular, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, information will be in the description box below. But Kim Kardashian basically was like, you know, y'all want to make money? Then get your ass up and go to work. It seems like nobody wants to work anymore, aka people are lazy. And then another individual, and the information again will be in the description box below, but another individual added on and basically was like, well, we all have the same 24 hours. So in other words, if I'm making money and getting to the bag, how come you're not making money and getting to the bag? Now, in theory, in reality, well, in theory, we do all have the same 24 hours. It's not like they're a day ahead of you, you know, unless they're in a different country, a different continent, you feel me? I should say a different continent. But we do, in theory, have the same 24 hours. However, in reality, it's obvious in many cases, depending on your social status, you're going to have more opportunities or you're going to have less opportunities. And listening to wealthy people who were literally born into wealth tell other people, well, get your ass up and go to work. That's how you get to the money. That's how you get wealth. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian was literally born into a rich, wealthy family. I believe her father, when he passed, literally left $30 million to his children and his family. So this whole get up and work thing, and I want to clarify, I'm not saying that Kim Kardashian hasn't worked, hasn't put any effort. You know, I'm not saying that she hasn't worked a day in her life. I'm not saying that she hasn't put in effort to make her dreams a reality. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you had a lot of support and help. Meanwhile, everyday people don't have $30 million being left to them. Everyday people don't have parents that are wealthy. Everyday people don't get $1 million loans like Donald Trump did to start businesses from their daddy. You feel me? Everyday people don't have that opportunity, don't have that type of support, don't have that type of wealth, don't have that type of cash, those type of assets. So our days and lives are a lot different. I also want to address this get up and get your ass to work. First of all, I work Monday through Friday. 9 a.m. to 5:30, sometimes 8:30 to 6 p.m. It all depends. And then in many cases, because I do outreach, a lot of times my outreach hours are after work or on the weekends. So I work on average a good 45 to 50 hours a week. Because again, a lot of the times when I'm doing outreach, it's not during business hours, you know. Or if it is during business hours, you still end up having to spend an additional hour or so, because it'll be like 4 to 6 and then typical business hours are 9 to 5. So, and I work, you know, and then, you know, the everyday person on average works 40 hours a week. So that's 160 hours a month. And you're talking about get your ass up and work. We're working. The problem is we don't work for places that pay us a living wage. We don't work at places that pay us our worth. You know, and again, there's a lot more poor, impoverished, low class, lower class, working poor people than there are rich and wealthy people. And that's not by mistake. Because oftentimes it's the working poor, it's the impoverished, it's the lower class, it's the working class, it's the middle class that's working to make these people like Kim Kardashian rich and wealthy. We keep working and giving our labor to these jobs, these nonprofits, these organizations, these businesses, these companies, these corporations. And we're just making them richer and richer and richer and richer and richer. And we essentially are becoming poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer. We do not have the same opportunities. So it's really mind-boggling to me when people speak from a place of privilege, because they're so oblivious the vast majority of the time to what other people are going through. Because again, rich people tend to hang out with who? Other rich people. They're not having conversations with the everyday working class person. You know what I mean? Their idea is, oh, I have a foundation, I have a nonprofit, which is essentially a way for them to funnel money back to themselves without paying taxes. Let's just keep it real. That's how they get tax cuts. They funnel money back to themselves into a nonprofit, and then they claim that they're doing charity work. Yeah, we know how it goes, okay? So they're not hanging out with everyday, working class, working poor people, middle class people, impoverished people. They're not doing any of that. Meanwhile, we're sitting up here going through hell. We're working and working, yet our wages have been low and stagnant for years. The cost of living has gone up. Inflation has gone up. Yet our wages and salaries have maintained very low and stagnant. And it has not been on par with the cost of living and inflation. When you think about people like Kim Kardashian, you're a billionaire. You didn't get there because you were paying people fair wages. Because if you were paying people fair wages, more than likely you wouldn't be a billionaire. Now, you would have money, you would have wealth, but you wouldn't be a billionaire. Again, you got to ask yourself, how did these people accumulate all of this money, all of this wealth, all of this cash, all of these assets? Okay? They do that by exploiting the working class, the working poor. They do that by exploiting their employees. Again, it's wage theft. Because a lot of times, they're able to reap in all of this cash and money and wealth because they refuse to pay us anything. If it was up to them, they wouldn't pay us to work. We would just be working for free. This is why I'm always saying, in my opinion, capitalism is slavery with a C. Because again, you don't really have much of a choice. You don't work, you can't eat food, you can't pay your bills, you can't have a car, you can't have a house, you can't have shelter, you don't have clothes, you don't have health care. And then in many cases, people are still working and don't have health care because everybody's job doesn't offer health care, doesn't offer benefits. And then a lot of us are forced to stay at jobs that are horrible, that don't pay us nothing, that treat us like a number, treat us like trash, but we stay because we need the healthcare benefits. And you still got to make ends meet, and you got a family to provide for, etc., etc., etc. So again, when these rich and wealthy people make these comments, it's like, damn, I work 160 plus hours a month. Don't tell me about getting your ass up and working. Okay? And then let's be real, even when I'm not at work, many of us have to help out and provide for our families. So a lot of times on your day off, it's not a day off. You're running errands. A lot of people got 2 and 3 jobs, multiple side hustles that we got to run and operate so we can make extra income because our full-time job doesn't pay us a good living. So we got to go out here and hustle. So a lot of us is working around the clock 24/7, 365. And we're literally working ourselves into early graves. I did a video this week where I'm discussing how living check to check and how that impacts your mental health and your physical health. And I'm going to continue to make these types of videos because people are dying and suffering. This is ongoing. And then you got the other person that's basically making $100,000 a month, literally making 6 figures per month. And you sitting up here talking about, yeah, we all got the same 24 hours. Your 24 hours looks a hell of a lot different than mine's, okay? Because you know what I get a month? You get 100,000 or more per month. You get 6 figures per month. You know what I get a month? I get $2,370 per month. Gas is $4.25 a gallon. Rent, mortgages, rent in particular, 1,000 plus. You know, you got property taxes, if you got mortgages, home insurance, renter's insurance, utility bills, trying to pay off your credit card, trying to pay off your student loan debt. You know how it is. We out here going through it. But they want to sit up here and talk to you about how we all have the same 24 hours. Yes, in theory, we all have the same 24 hours. But in reality, if I was making 6 figures a month, my 24 hours would look a hell of a lot different. Okay? My family would be living a hell of a lot better. I would be living a hell of a lot better. My health, my mental and physical health would be a hell of a lot better. I wouldn't be driving a car with multiple engine lights on. You feel me? I wouldn't be sitting up, you know, talking about, you know, how I'm going to pay my student loans off. Hell, if I'm making 6 figures a month, I'm paying I'm paying my student loans off the first week, the first 2-3 weeks. Like, here you go. You feel me? Like, but that's what I'm talking about. People with privilege, out of sight, out of mind. And that's just on class privilege. People be having privileges in many different ways, right? So one of my privileges is I have a college education. However, I'm in massive student loan debt. But it's a privilege to be able to go to college, to be able to have a college education, to be able to have a degree. And I recognize that privilege. So that's what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, again, you really can't expect, and it's sad, in my opinion, you can't expect wealthy people to really give a damn about people on Main Street. And I mean, all you got to do is look at the elected officials, whether they're Democrat, Republican. Look at your elected officials, okay? They're supposed to be representing you in your best interests. But yet, how is it your best interest to be living check to check? How is it your best interest to be driving over potholes? How is it your best interest to be drinking water that's poisoned with lead and PFOS and other contaminants? Okay then. You know what I mean? How is it your best interest not to have health insurance? You know, but that's what I'm talking about. But they can vote to give wealthy people and corporations tax cuts. Meanwhile, everyday people on Main Street, I pay 22.9% of my gross monthly income is going to taxes. I'm essentially losing $1,000 per month. And that's just me. Now think about what you are paying in taxes. Think about how much money you are losing. How much money you are making at the end of the week or every time you get paid, every pay period. So I just, you know, it's about to be 15 minutes, so I'm about to end this conversation. But I just want it to be known that a lot of times with these wealthy people, they're out of sight, out of mind. And they're going to make these privilege-based commentary. And they want to try to make you feel guilty and make you feel like shit. And then it's all this toxic positivity shit as well. And I'm going to do another video on that because I get so sick and tired of that. I'm not saying, you know, not to try to be positive, but a lot of people will literally, here it is, you're dealing with back-to-back deaths. Like, for example, me personally, I lost 10 family members between May of 2020 and in April of 2021. Okay? And yet you got people, well, why are you so down? You're always negative. I lost 10 fucking family members. Back-to-back funerals. What are you talking about? But that's what I'm talking about with the toxic positivity. But that's going to be a new video. That's going to be another one. I'm really getting back to me. It took me a while, but I'm getting back to me. We finna push through this. I'm about to go to the gym. And of course, I'm going to have my mask on because that's just me. But I'm out.